You want to hear what the Fox says? Hello everybody, my name is Fox Forge and welcome back to Armello. Today we will be going over character customization and character selection, or basically whatever you want to do with your character. So here I have Thane from the first video, and you select the characters from 4 different clans. You have 2 different characters per clan, so Thane's opposite is River here. And you can see that their stats all change, and they have a special ability. For example, River shoots her bow before entering battle, and her stats are almost all the same except for her spirit. Thane is identical and has other stats improved while some stats are taken away. For example, he's not as smart as River, but he gets an extra point for his fight. But his ability changes as well. For example, if you burn sword cards in a fight, he'll actually be better at fighting because he'll penetrate enemy shields. So, for example, we'll go through Thane and we'll customize him. Another big reason to pick Thane is that the 4 clans in the game all have these 2 different affinities, day and night. So the rats and the wolves all share the night affinity, which gives them an extra dice for fighting at night, whereas the bears and the rabbits get the day affinity, which allows them to fight during the day. Each character has a special ability. For example, Brun, our oak bearer, gets an extra fight for every spell card he casts. So if you use spell cards during his turn and then go into a fight, you'll get extra fighting capability. Whereas Sana, you'd be better off fighting corrupted characters because then her spirit becomes her fight characteristic. Mercurio here is kind of like Han Solo, if you would forgive me for my Star Wars reference, but he just takes gold from those of the settlements that he takes over. So for example, he walks into a settlement controlled by Thane, he'll take a gold from Thane. Amber gets a torch, which allows her to search dungeons. It gets higher reward possibilities. Zosha actually has a shadow ability, which makes her invisible pretty much everywhere at night, except for the palace. And Barnaby allows him to use any type of item you have in your deck of cards that you have with you, and just switch them out as often as you like, as long as you can pay for the cards for initial settings. For now, we're going to customize Thane, and we're going to go over the basic extras that you can apply to the character. Now, this first setup is, notice how it picks the AI characters for me in single player. I can select them later and I can actually customize them later and select all these different things for them. Now, the first thing you're going to pick for each clan is actually a ring that they're going to be able to wear, and it just gives them a separate stat that they can use. For example, this particular ring, the Moonstone, gives an extra magic for every time Thane wins a fight, and the Onyx will give a gold for the same thing. For the wolves, these are unique as well, and every clan has a unique set of stones. For example, the bears will have stones that give for magic or for healing. The wolves give basically extra movement and extra combat focus. Like the rabbits will have gold focuses and other things like that. For the wolves, the Celestialite, which is probably one of the most powerful, I would think, allows you to ignore mountain movement penalties, which I'll explain in the Tiles episode. And the Sapphire gains stealth on mountains as well, day and night. So either way, these are pretty powerful for a wolf character to have. Now the second set of well, I should say pendants or amulets or whatever. This actually gives you a second stat that you can add to your character. For example, the watch gives you a first symbol match on peril guaranteed no matter what kind of peril you're going into. Even if you're going into the perils of the palace, you'll get that first symbol match guaranteed. In fact, it will take off one of the symbols for the peril for you, and it'll be easier to get through. Sprint, if you die anytime in the game, when you respawn, or your next turn comes around, you'll get an extra action point. Now that's only exclusive to that turn, so if you don't use it, it's kind of like a use it or lose it kind of thing. Dig, when you go into dungeons, you go to find stuff, you get a higher capability to find spirit stones. And these right here, like the soak and the field, these just add to your stats, the basic stats that you have, the fight, body, wits, and spirit, which will affect your ability. Like this one will affect your ability to cast better magic cards, this one will affect your ability to go through perils, this one will affect your health, and this one will affect your how many dice you get in battle or your fight stat. This is an interesting one that I haven't really used. Gain 1 health at dusk. I guess if you're going for a rock victory, it would be helpful because you would get an extra health point every time nighttime comes around. And the spoil I've never unlocked because I never went for a rock victory, but using it, you start with 2 rot and you can't lose it. It's kind of like the same as this one, the favor, where you start with 2 prestige. You can't lose the 2 prestige you start with. So, as with spoil here, you won't lose the 2 rot that you start with. You will be infected, you'll suffer 1 health at dawn, which is the first turn around in each set of turns. So that's basically everything you can do with each distinct character, and every choice you make goes to how the ending of the game is going to play out, or the end game will play out, or the beginning of the game will play out. Basically, the whole game will orient around how you set up your character. So if you set up your character for a prestige victory, or a rot victory, or a spiritual victory, or spirit stone victory, or if you go for a Kingslayer victory, there's virtually, from what I can think, limitless amounts of combinations that you can make for your character and set up for a game. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. My name is Fox Forge. Goodbye, everybody.